Don't get me wrong, there have been many powerful Pokemon, but none of which ever come close to the most unbalanced Pokemon in Pokemon history. Now, I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I managed to get 685 in the Pokemon Sword and Shield Online Doubles Rank Series, which I think is a pretty good achievement. Now, this doesn't just come from me battling on my own time, but also me watching regional tournaments and all those competitive Pokemon players just battle it out. I've now just realized how broken some of these Pokemon are, which is what this ranking video is all about. Now, if you guys think I missed a Pokemon that should be in this top 10 ranking list, don't hesitate to comment. I'd love to see your guys' suggestions. So without further ado, let's start with the ranking. Oh, and I almost forgot, this ranking is in no particular order. This is just the most broken Pokemon. So yeah. Now coming in at number 10 is going to be Mega Kangaskhan. Now if you take a look at its stats, it doesn't look that broken. I mean, it has 125 attack, it has a base stat total of 590, but what makes this Pokemon really broken is not its typing, not its stats, but Parental Bond. Now, Parental Bond is Kangaskhan's ability when it Mega Evolves, and what this effect does, it allows the ability bearer to attack twice. The second attack hits with 25% of the power, so in effect, it is equivalent to a 25% boost to all attacks. Oh, and did I forget to mention that this ability had to get nerfed? Originally, it was 50% of your original attack. Yeah, you heard me. 50%. So just imagine if you use a normal type base move with stab plus Parental Bond and you have 125 attack. So you're dealing out quite a bit of damage, if I do dare to say. I still can't believe to this day how the Pokemon Company greenlit this, because they looked at this and they said, huh, yeah, no, this is completely balanced. But hey, they at least balanced it out by giving this Mega Kangaskhan 60 special attack. So don't worry, guys, it is totally balanced. Now, coming in at number 9 is going to be Tyranitar, or specifically Mega Tyranitar. Actually, scratch both of that, just Tyranitar in general. Now, first and foremost, just take a look at its stats. Yeah, it has no speed. Take a look at its attack. 134. Now, if we go to its Mega, yeah, someone greenlit this at Pokemon Company. They were like, hey, look at this attack stat. You think this is balanced? Yeah, sure, John. That's totally balanced. Like, what? And that's just its attack. Just take a look at its defense real quick. Its special defense and its raw defense. Like, this thing has so much attack, so much defense, so much special defense, has Sandstream for even more bulk. This thing is the definition of a actual living tank. Now, as if its stats weren't enough to convince you that this Pokemon is just straight up broken, it also has the most broken moveset. Listen here. Dragon Dance, broken. Iron Defense, broken. Outrage, broken. Stone Edge, Earthquake, Stab Crunch, and Rock Slide. Stab Rock Slide precisely, and has a 30% chance of causing the target to flinch. So you could just spam Rock Slide, keep getting flinches, and not only would it be a 75 base power move, a little bit on the low end, it would be Stab with a 164 attack. Anyways, I think you understood how broken this Pokemon was. I don't need to go in further detail. Now, coming in at number 8 is going to be Therian Form Landorus. Now, what makes this Pokemon broken, it's only weak to 2 types, first and foremost, that being water and ice. Yes, it's 4 times weak to ice, but ice is one of the worst typings anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And not only does it have a really high attack stat of 145, it also has Intimidate, which is a very strong ability for offensive sweepers, and also has access to Stab Earthquake, which should not be legal. And also has Rock Slide, which, again, one of the most broken freaking moves of all time. Nothing surprising there. But it can be used both defensively and offensively. It has Bulldoze for speed control, but also has Earthquake and Stab. It's just so versatile, man. It definitely makes it in the ranking. Now, coming in at number 7 is going to be both Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre. Now, I just want you guys to take a look at these stats. Then you tell me if you think this is balanced. Because I don't know about you, this doesn't look balanced. Like, why does this thing have 160 defense and 180 attack? This is just Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon is honestly the worst out of the two, because Kyogre has the best typing for a legendary. Water is only weak to 2 types, and if you look at its stats, it is so broken. I think you guys have heard of the Primordial Sea Water Spout meta, because if you guys haven't, it does a lot of damage. Like a lot of damage. Even without their abilities. Like, just straight up their stats and their typing, this Pokemon is just so broken. Kyogre and Groudon. Now, their abilities, Desolate Land and Primordial Sea, just buff them a lot because they just negate weaknesses for Primal Groudon. And in Kyogre's case, it just makes Water Spout so much more broken than it already is. Now, I'm not going to talk about these Pokemon any further because this is just obvious. You guys know how strong they are. There's nothing more to talk about. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Ultra Necrozma, having the second highest base stat total out of any Pokemon ever, excluding Max, obviously. And there's only one other Pokemon above this Pokemon, that being Mega Rayquaza, which we'll talk about later. But Ultra Necrozma, it's broken, second highest base stat total, and also doesn't have a 4x weakness, unlike Rayquaza, which is why it's so broken. It's just, I mean, look at its stats, bro. It's a monstrosity. And to top it all off, the cherry on top to all of this is the fact that it has an ability that powers up super effective moves. And with that type of attack and special attack stat, and the fact that it gets Swords Dance and you can run both either special attack set or physical attack set, on top of it having freaking Swords Dance and Photon Geyser, a 100 base power psychic move. Anyways. Now coming in at number 5 is going to be Xerneas, and before I get heated, let me explain what's so broken about this Pokemon. Now if you take a look at its stats, it's not anything too crazy, right? Like, it's just a well-rounded legendary. Until you realize it's pure fairy. Oh, it doesn't have too many weaknesses, does it? Poison and steel. Oh, it has fairy aura, so it powers up fairy type moves. It gets Stab Moonblast. That's kind of scary, but nothing too, crazy. And then you realize it has Geomancy. Now, when you look at Geomancy, you see that, oh, it takes 2 turns to raise the special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages. Until you realize there's a certain held item that people would run on this Xerneas to activate Geomancy instantly, and that would be Power Herb. Yeah, you can see what makes this Pokemon so broken. Power Herb, Geomancy, and sweep the entirety of the enemy's team. It's just that simple. Coming in at number 4 is Incineroar. Now, a starter being on this list may seem crazy, I know. Its base stat total is only 530. It's nothing too crazy, right? How can a starter Pokemon be on the same level of legendaries? Well, I'll tell you why. Fire Dark. Do you know how many weaknesses that typing has? Fighting, rock, water, ground. Couple, right? So look at its stats. For a starter Pokemon, it has really good bulk. 90 defense, 90 special defense, and 95 HP. It's on the slow slide though, so that's kind of its weakness, right? Its a hidden ability is Intimidate, so already it's very, very defensive, and on top of its already existing bulk, you can kind of see where the EVs will be drawn into. On top of that, people run Shuka Berry to try to eliminate the possible KOs from Earthquake. And at the time, Landorus was really popular, so you could see why people would put Shuka Berry. Now, on top of having Stab Flare Blitz and a signature move called Darkest Lariat that would ignore stat changes, so already you could use it offensively or defensively, similar to Landorus, it learns Parting Shot. It learns Fake Out. It learns Parting Shot, I will say this again, and Fake Out. This was one of the biggest challenges every Pokemon battler faced on the online rank series. This thing was so disgusting. The Fake Outs, the Parting Shots, you could not one-shot this Pokemon off the field. It was impossible. I can go on, but again, you've heard what I've said, and you know this Pokemon's broken now. So let's just move on to the next one, shall we? Coming in at number 3 is going to be Regieleki. So, this Pokemon, looking at its stats, you see not a lot of bulk, you see not a lot of special attack either. So like, what's really the problem with this one, right? Even its ability, yeah, it's pure electric, so only has 1 weakness, and the ability seems kind of broken. So you would think it'd just be used as an offensive sweeper, right? I mean, its special attack's garbage. Even though it's a Regi, this is kind of disappointing, right? Let me scroll down a bit. You see that? That is the highest speed stat total of any Pokemon in existence. Now let's talk about the moveset, because this has the highest speed stat total of any Pokemon of existence. So let me talk about Volt Switch real quick, because it has a free switch out option to anything. If it doesn't like its matchup, boom, switch out, because it's the fastest Pokemon. Also has a move called Electro Web. Complete speed control. Want to know why? Because you're the fastest Pokemon in the field. You will always land your first attack. You have so many options with this Pokemon, so much versatility, and you also get Protect, because, why not? And also, it's just the fact that you get Thunder Wave too, because, yeah, everyone loves to be paralyzed every freaking second, right? If you weren't using this Pokemon, you were throwing. You were just legit throwing. It's that simple. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Rayquaza. Now let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. It has the highest base stat total of any Pokemon in existence, excluding, again, Mega Eternatus or Dynamax Eternatus, whatever. It has 180 attack and 180 special attack. Similar to Ultra Necrozma, you could run it both physically or specially, whichever one you wanted, and its ability was also really broken because it eliminated your flying type weaknesses. You were no longer 4 times weak to ice, which, you know, that's so balanced. And also, on top of the high attack stat, it gets a move called Dragon Ascent, a 120 base power move. Now, this all sounds broken, right? Until you realize it also gets stacking moves like Dragon Dance and also Extreme Speed, so priority if you weren't faster than the opposing Pokemon anyways. And also, on top of everything I'm mentioning right now, what makes this Pokemon so broken, besides its stats, besides its broken ability, besides its broken signature move, is the fact that you didn't need a Mega Stone to Mega Evolve it. You always had a free, key item, or item of your choice. You could have Focus Sash, Life Orb, Choice Band, Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, anything you would want on this Pokemon. It gets a free item. The entire purpose of Mega Evolutions is that you had to have the Mega Stone, so you wouldn't be overly broken and use Life Orb or something on a freaking Mega Blaziken. But having a, Focus Sash or Choice Band Dragon Ascent boosted freaking stab Rayquaza is balanced though, right? Because whoever thought that could have been the smartest, honestly, just give him a raise, bro. Just give him a raise. Now, let's talk a little bit about the number 1 Pokemon. That being Zacian. Steel Fairy, you're only weak to 2 types, that being Ground and Fire. Not only that, Zacian had the same attack stat as Deoxys attack form. Wanna know why all of Deoxys' forms have such little stats in some categories? Is it would be too broken. Because attack form Deoxys has 180 attack, but if you get hit by a freaking leaf, you're dying. Just to balance things out. Zacian not only had 180 attack, had an ability called Intrepid Sword that boosted its attack stat once it entered battle. A free +1 howl, basically. On top of the already 180 attack, it had 148 speed, so it could already outspeed most Pokemon. And it also had its signature move, Behemoth Blade. What did Behemoth Blade do, you might ask? Stab Steel move that doubled in damage if you were attacking a Dynamax Pokemon. At the time, in its debut, this was the number 1 used Pokemon of all time. And on top of all of this, it also gets Sword Stance. It gets Sword Stance. So if you could predict your opponent, you would get free +3 attack. Want to know how much attack that is? A lot! And because Dynamax was the main gimmick in Sword and Shield, that Behemoth Blade attack that I mentioned would always have 200 base power. It was so... I know I've been using this term so much in this video. I've been abusing this term, but I can proudly say, with 100% certainty, this Pokemon is the definition of broken. And that is the end of the ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I know this is usually different from my other content where I'm usually composed and centered. I just didn't have a script for this video. I wanted to try out just ad-libbing and just having fun, So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, well, you could put a dislike too. That's fine. I don't care. Anyways, see you guys. Peace.